Okay, Adrian, fantastic class. We are moving right along. You are you're heading to a different level now in your journey, right? So I am going to just mention a few things for you, and I'm going to kind of delve into like the theory more, so you can understand where you are right now and how to use certain things that you've learned in the creative process when you're doing your compositions. Now, here's the thing, we'll start off with the chord progression of your song, with the E minor seventh, the D seventh, the C major seventh, and the B minor seventh. What I want you to do here, when you have a chord progression that you are working on, if you created a chord progression or someone else is creating a chord progression and they want your input on it, you play it, right? You have that. It goes from that to this. Okay. Now, if it's someone else's rhythm that they just came up with, you may like that, and they might look at you and go, "No, I'm looking for this." And then here you go. Um, and then they might go, "Well, no, maybe something a little bit more of this." So, and then that's when you can go something like that. Maybe not, right? Now, the thing is, if you've noticed, I just played a number of different styles that you can play. And what that means is you are pretty well rounded as far as what you know how to do and what you bring to the table as far as helping other people create things or you creating something of your own. This is a very important attribute to have as a musician and as an artist. You know, if you're not flexible, well, you're not going to be able to do certain things, right? If you don't have a good variety of things and styles that you can play, then you're only going to know one style, and you might not be able to communicate with other musicians. It is exactly like, like coming in from another country and speaking, you know, the language of that region. Like you speak English well, right? And so, but you also speak French. And I don't know if you speak other languages, but what happens is wherever you go, you can speak to all these different people, right? Because you have that in your background. So you want to do that with this. So you already have these different styles under your belt, things that you can do, right? Um, just with chords, you know how to express different approaches, different styles with playing chords. It could be any chords. You have the understanding. You might not think that you can play all those things in that way. I think you can. It's just going to take some time for certain styles, but you have the know-how. That's really important. That's that's pretty much it right there. You have the know-how here, and all you have to do is practice it and continue practicing. Just do what you're doing, right? Just continue on that road. Okay, so the one thing that I would like you to do with this chord progression is do the finger picking style on it. You're going to need to slow everything down significantly. Just slow it down and work on the order that you come up with as far as the strings you're going to play, right? If you want to hit all the strings from the fifth string down, that's cool. Do it, right? Because all the roots of this particular chord pattern, they're going to start on your 5th string anyway, so go for that. But take your time, because you may come up with a certain way of playing all those strings, those 5 strings, that's like unique to yourself, and it may sound pretty cool, something interesting, right? So you can go, give yourself a chance, think about things. Right? And then you can eventually just kind of okay. So there's a lot of things there. There's Afro-Brazilian, right? But what I want you to do is just work on that particular thing, the finger picking, along with all those other things, so you can see how much you've learned, how far you've come. Okay, now in having said that, the theory of this class will go into the notes, the scale patterns. We're going to deal with the A pentatonic, right? You could pick any pentatonic you want, but I'm concerned about, I say A pentatonic because I want to maintain the basic pattern, the shape of the basic scale for the pentatonic, right? Now, we're going to play around with that and look at the tension notes, all right? Because we did something today that was really important. We played those different scales, like the harmonic minor and the A diminished scale. We played those back to back, and we compared the two. A lot of people will use the B diminished scale in this key, because the 7th mode is when you take the 1, 3, 5 out of the 7th mode, which is a B, you're going to get a diminished chord. So it would make sense to do that. However, when you play the A diminished along with the A harmonic or over an A minor chord progression, when you play that diminished scale, there's like subtle differences, but it just sounds special. It sounds interesting, and it fits in a certain way. It's so that's why I use it. If you there's another reason why I use it, but it's going to have something to do with that pentatonic, and we kind of like found that today. All right, now I'm going to play just a call and response with the C major scale as opposed to the A natural minor scale. Now, before I do that, when I play the C major scale, I'm going to show you the way that you can play that C major scale as opposed to just playing a C major scale. You could play like a robot, or you can play carefully, right? Use what you know about playing that C major scale and add things to it, because you understand how that works. Or you can just play like a robot. Okay, so people could learn that. But if you were to sit there, kind of think, and just that's a C major scale. All right, I just kind of played it a different kind of way. I put something into it. Okay, now let's do the call and response. Okay. Now, it was hard to detect which one was a natural minor and which one was a C major because I was playing a certain way. And at some point, it all started to sound like one feeling was put in there. Okay. That's kind of what you want. All right. You want to get to a point where all of those things that you learned start to come together and you realize if someone asks you what key you're playing in, you could virtually say, okay, it's a C major, or you could say I'm playing an A minor, or you could play I'm playing in the A pentatonic. I'm playing in this because you've made everything kind of your own because it's become something more than just a scale. This is the ingredient that is for us. It's called feeling. You know, it's like a very deep thing. It's a spiritual thing, and this is what you're adding to with all the things that you've learned, all those patterns. All those patterns are just a better way to express yourself, right? That's why this thing is by your inward parts, your core, right? That's coming out of you. So when you play your scales, that's just a better way of you being able to express yourself and to share whatever it is you're feeling. All right. So let's do the A harmonic minor, and we could even do the C major scale with the A harmonic minor. Okay. Okay. So there were some differences there. Okay. But what was going on there is if you were listening for the differences, you would hear it because we had a G sharp in there. All right. But what happens is all the rest of those notes, it's very hard to identify what I was playing unless you saw me go here and all right. But that's also when you're playing the A minor, that's in there as well. You have that. It's the same thing. It becomes a about the way you're expressing your feelings and your thoughts, right? So subtle difference in there. All right, let's go to the A minor, A harmonic minor, and then the A diminished, right? Okay, I actually added some of the natural minor in there. I got kind of carried away, but in playing all of that, there because the harmonic minor and the A diminished, they have these awkward kind of tones to them. Somehow, in a weird way, it all kind of sounds interesting and it goes right in with one another. Okay. When we go to the pentatonic scale, understand that when we play the blues scales and things of that nature, like the pentatonic, the basic pattern, they bend a lot of their notes. When you bend a note, you're actually hearing a couple of other notes in there. In the bend, it's all in the bend. Your frets, when you have a fretted instrument, those frets are actual notes. There's a couple of notes there. There's a couple of notes in that region there. There's a couple of notes there. If you took those things off, you would hear them. You would hear those notes just by rolling your fingertip. You would hear a couple of different notes in there until you get to the desired note. It's true. So when you bend a note, you're hitting a couple of notes, and then you're actually hitting the note that's the next fret over. Okay, I'm here. I do that. That's half of that, right? That should be like around here somewhere. But if I were to go, same thing. All right. I just bent to my tension note, and then I brought it back. I brought it right back. Okay. So when you play around with your pentatonic, what you want to do is you want to play the pentatonic as though you're playing a chromatic scale. Play around with that. Do it a couple of times. Then when you are hitting individual notes, go into the chromatic. Or play around with that. There's a lot going on. Now you know that there's 5/7/5/7, right? It is 5/7, but you have tension notes beyond the 7. You could virtually hit anything as long as you play it a certain way. I do this, right? I could play 8s. I could play from 5 through 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. I could continue doing it. And I can stop there. All right, so I went into another aspect of another mode of the A pentatonic. It's all A pentatonic. So guess what I'm doing when I'm doing this in my A pentatonic? I'm playing everything. I'm playing actually everything because it has different spots, right? Different modes that you learned. That's everything. That's all of the frets. It's just the way you play them. All right. It's a very deep concept. This is a long video, I know, but pay attention to everything. It's going to help you. All right, my friend, you did a fantastic job. Cut this video up into parts and check things out for yourself. All right. All right, I thank you for your work, man, and your dedication. You're really doing well, and it's a pleasure working with you, Adrien. See you soon, my friend. God bless.